So this is the spoiler review of The Force Awakens. If you haven't seen the regular spoiler-free review, go ahead and click the little poster right here. Otherwise, you have been warned. Proceed at your own risk. First thing I'm going to say right off the fly, I absolutely hated the fact they had another destructive planet-killing machine. Like, really? When that happened, I rolled my eyes. I'm just like, come on. You did it in episode 4, which was cool. Then, oh, you did in episode, 6. Oh, okay, I get it. With J.J. Abrams at the head of this, you would have almost thought they would have had maybe some other creative, you got these Knights of Ren, the remnants of the Empire. And then they could have used a more like dictator-heavy presence to start organizing and running the planets. That's a little bit more threatening than, hey, we got this planet thing, we suck up sun. That to me was like the biggest waste of plot elements and devices. Like, just flat out stupid.
Did you really have to do another Death Star? Was that really necessary? Out of 7 movies, you did it in 3 movies? I mean, that's like the definition of not very creative. I don't understand why you couldn't use another plot device. It's got Jurassic World syndrome. It's like, we've learned in multiple other movies that this doesn't work, so let's try it again. It's like, give me a break. That is my biggest complaint about the movie. I rolled my eyes, as I'm sure everybody else did. They were like, are you kidding me? And then their little planning meeting where they're sitting around the hologram. I'm like, didn't I already see this twice? It just felt redundant. And considering it was surrounded by such amazing things, it was really sad to see that kind of stuck in the middle. That was disappointing.
Another Death Star. Well, they call it Star Killer Base, so I guess it's new. And it's bigger. It's bigger, more powerful. Of course it is, right? I've done this before. Let's see if this works. That's the only thing I didn't like about this movie.
And I'm sure the other guys are going to say the same thing, which is fine because the more you hear it, it'll start sinking in. The non-use of Luke Skywalker. Really? 2.5-hour movie, thereabout, I'm going to get 10 seconds of Luke? Doesn't even say a word, just kind of like...
I did not see Han Solo's death coming. Although when they opened that scene, that was kind of a giveaway. I was kind of hoping... I hope it doesn't happen. But a son killing his own father, that's about as low as it gets. When Han tries to reach out to Kylo Ren, Kylo's about to give him his saber, and then right at that moment, the Starkiller base was just drawing power from the sun to power and charge it up. The sun goes out completely, and that's when Kylo Ren just kills his father right then and there. Changes his mind. A good metaphor. The light went out, darkness overcame. The lights from the scene, like red lights, reflected off his face to emanate that power of the dark force inside of him.
One thing that I did not appreciate, at all, you killed Han Solo. He's been around forever. You can't do that. I didn't like that. To me, it was very bothersome. It was just kind of like,
I really enjoyed the acting. There are specific points where I think the acting really shined. There's a point where Rey and Kylo Ren are kind of going toe-to-toe when she's locked in the chair, and they don't say anything. There's no words in this scene once it begins. And it's just kind of this posturing thing where she's finally getting the idea that she has the Force and she's fighting back when he's trying to invade her mind. So it gets to the point where he invades her mind and then she invades his. And without saying anything during that scene, you see this struggle. You see her kind of push towards him and him kind of push back, and I thought it was amazing. I thought that whole scene was well acted, well shot, and it really portrayed a message that she was fighting him and kind of learning as she went, and I thought that was really cool.
A couple things that I actually really enjoyed. I liked Finn. The whole idea of this stormtrooper that you find out with stormtroopers that they're not necessarily clones like in the prequels. You get snatched up from a family and you get tossed into this regiment training program, and that's all you know. So you get a conflicted stormtrooper that's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't want to be with these guys anymore. I enjoyed the whole, he wants to run, but he knows he's got a bigger calling. I actually liked that character. It was enjoyable to see him, and then he did play well with Rey. Finn and Rey, their chemistry, you believed it. The whole, don't hold my hand to run, when they're in the Millennium Falcon together, and they're kind of quipping with each other, and she's like, I'm pointing to that, to that, to that. I like that. Another thing I did like, although I know the lightsaber stuff was kind of too minimal, you got to see him in a new environment you've never seen him before, which was in the snow. That was actually pretty cool to see the whole dueling it out in the snow, getting the sabers into the snow, and hearing them melt and sizzle and whatnot like that. So I enjoyed those things. Those are something that definitely kind of popped out. Kind of hoping to see maybe more saber duels in the future films with other interesting locations. Kind of like Episode 3 did have a good location with the fire and stuff. That was new and different. So I want to see more stuff like that.
Han and Leia. The two of them together, you still feel that dissonance. You still feel that they love each other, but at the same time, they're still snapping at each other. They've got these little quips going on, but they look like an older couple, like a couple that's been together for a very long time. You still felt that love and that connection. Now, one more thing I didn't like. I understand why they did it, but I really wish they didn't, because I wanted to see more Luke. So when you get to the end of the movie and he's about to say something, I felt like he was about to say something and they're like, nope, wide shot, we're done. I understand why you did that, because everybody's going to want to see the next one, because you got Han in this one, you're going to get Luke in the next one. But I'm basically a crying fan at this point, throwing a tantrum. I wanted more Luke, I really did. Aside from that, I thought they did an amazing job with the droid, BB-8 I believe it was called. He had this personality to him, or she had a personality towards the droid, I guess, I don't know. But there was this personality to this character that came through kind of like R2-D2 did, not really C-3PO, but like R2-D2 did, where it doesn't say anything, it's all beeps and bloops. You have actions that make it feel like it has emotions, like his head goes down and he sighs, or the point where Finn gives him the thumbs up and he gives a little lighter thumbs up. Just fantastic. Just little parts where you just want to cheer. It's so awesome. Really well done. I also enjoy Kylo Ren as a character, kind of this conflict he has going on inside, where he goes from cool and collected, appearing cool and collected, to just throwing a freaking rage tantrum. There's a scene where he just, as you know, just destroys a freaking monitor array and just goes off on this entire panel, and you feel the anger. It's like it wafts through the theater. You can feel his anger so well. I think that's really important. Him throwing tantrums shows that he's conflicted. It also shows that he's not as mature as Vader was, and he's not at that point where he's truly in control. So when you get to the point where when it happens with Han, when you get to that point, you feel like he's so conflicted that you're like, is he going to do it? Because you kind of see it coming, but at the same time, you're like, maybe he's not going to do it. Maybe he got through to him. It's just enough doubt where it keeps you kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. I thought that was well done. I will say they telegraphed it a little bit. The way that scene is structured, you kind of know he's going to do it. But at the same time, I like the tears in the guy that plays Kylo Ren's eyes. You can see a struggle in his face, and I really like that. Like I said, the acting was really good in this movie. You can feel the emotions coming off of these characters.
So I felt this was a really long episode of Lost. Yes, J.J. Abrams is notorious for question, answer. They introduced a lot of questions and stuff, which would have been better if they maybe didn't do that so bad, because then when you got to the end of the movie, you're kind of like, well, this is not really a conclusive film. It's obviously it's a stepping stone, so I know there's more of them, but they still could have, brought it in tight, maybe left one or two questions, not like the stuff with Rey, why she was left on Jakku, the Tatooine wannabe planet, why Kylo Ren is so angry and pissed off, and how did he fall to the dark side. I mean, there's some stuff they could have explored, I think would have been better than, hey, we got this planet, kill stuff. Not a whole lot of lightsaber battles, and the one that I got was very sloppy. I mean, I get it, they're untrained. Now, I did like, they started exploring the Force powers and what they can do with them, especially Kylo Ren, how he, can stop you, freeze you, and then, wipe your mind to go to sleep. He can freeze, a blaster bullet, beam. That was cool to see. I'm like, okay. I really, really like all the dogfights with the X-Wings. That's one of my favorite vehicles in the whole Star Wars universe. You get the X-Wings. They also kind of changed up their colors a little bit, which is cool. You have, some orangey ones, some blue ones. Yes, they kind of do the whole trench run Death Star thing, but the way they did it made more sense. The whole cover, they can't get inside of it, so they're like, we gotta bomb it. So they actually took a redundant plot device, added to it, so I appreciated that, where the X-Wing guys we gotta keep at it, we gotta penetrate it so we can get in there and blow this shit up. There was some awesome nostalgic kickback, like that little game in episode 4 that R2 and Chewie play, the little monster thing. That was cool to see that. I feel like all the Rebel bases are in rundown, overgrown temples. That's cool to see. I kind of like that. It's like their theme. They have to be in some kind of a temple, otherwise it's just not the same.
Or an ice cave.
Or an ice cave,
with
right?
electrical wiring all over the world of water.
But that's all for me for the spoilers. The movie's good. It is good. Maybe a smidgen overhyped, but it's still worth checking out. I'm probably going to see it again.